Khloé Kardashian seems to be heading toward yet another emotional storm. Not even 2 days had passed since Tristan Thompson allowed her to post a family picture with their daughter. True. Many believed Khloé shared that photo as a way of proving a point, almost like she wanted to remind the other women in Tristan's life that he was still by her side, a devoted father and a respectable man. But Tristan had other plans. In his own way, he decided to send Khloé a harsh reminder of who he really is. Just hours later, cameras caught him intentionally strutting out of a strip club. He hadn't gone in alone either. Witnesses say he entered with one woman, styled with slicked back hair, strikingly resembling Kylie Jenner. And when he left, he was accompanied by 2 women instead. What stands out most is the pattern. Each time Tristan is caught publicly humiliating Khloé, the women around him always resemble someone from her own family. Once it was a Kim lookalike, this time a Kylie double. Reporters even joked the second woman resembled Hailey Bieber. Strangely enough, everyone he's seen with looks like anyone but Khloé herself. This brings us to a difficult question: Khloé's parenting choices. While Tristan spends his nights parading around strip clubs and chasing attention, Khloé seems to be holding on tightly to an image of family life. Some even suggest she allows Tristan to cheat in peace, just to keep up appearances. Others believe Tristan and Khloé might already be secretly married, which makes the humiliation even sharper. What's undeniable is the cycle. Every time Tristan allows Khloé to take pride in being associated with him, he quickly follows it with a public betrayal. Even newspapers are questioning how long she'll endure this pattern. And at the center of it all, their daughter True is left growing up in the shadow of her parents' toxic dynamic. Despite Khloé Kardashian's claims of showing her real face online, many observers still argue that heavy editing and filters dominate her photos. What's striking is that the filters aren't just applied to her own selfies. Fans have noticed she even adds them to pictures of her children. True and Tatum. It's a surprising choice, especially considering Khloé was once seen as naturally attractive long before her well-documented journey with plastic surgery. Yet the controversy runs deeper. Years ago, Khloé openly admitted that she demanded multiple paternity tests for Tatum. She couldn't believe the child truly belonged to her and Tristan, and at one point even considered leaving the newborn in the hospital or asking the surrogate to take the baby home. That revelation shocked many, raising questions about her relationship with motherhood itself. At the same time, Khloé rarely speaks critically about Tristan. She'll make comments about her own family, or even her children, but when it comes to Tristan, her words remain cautious. This silence becomes harder to ignore, especially when public scandals erupt. Recently, the U.S. Sun released a series of photographs capturing Tristan confidently exiting a Los Angeles strip club late at night. Dressed in an all-black tracksuit, silver chain glinting, and baseball cap pulled low, he arrived with one woman, but left with 2 by his side. Both women, styled with slicked-back hair and curve-hugging outfits, mirrored the familiar look-alike pattern Tristan has displayed before. Official reports stress that Khloé and Tristan are no longer romantically involved. However, they remain tied together as co-parents of their 2 children, True and Tatum, a bond that keeps their names and their drama perpetually intertwined in the headlines. In the aftermath of tragedy, Khloé Kardashian stepped into an unexpected role, caring for Tristan Thompson's disabled younger brother, Amari, after their mother passed away in January 2023. It was a responsibility many admired, a gesture that suggested compassion and loyalty. But the contrast between Tristan's public promises and his private actions couldn't be starker. Not long ago, he spoke tearfully about honoring his late mother, vowing to prove himself as the man she raised. Yet today, his behavior seems to tell a very different story, one of recklessness and repeated scandal. Still, Khloé and Tristan occasionally appear united for the sake of their children. Recently, the 2 came together to send their daughter off on her first day of 2nd grade. Photos shared online showed a family of 4 standing before a cheerful backdrop of balloons and a giant book cutout that read, "First day of 2nd grade." The images painted a picture of togetherness, but for many, it felt like a carefully staged illusion. Behind the smiles, the rumors swirl. Observers speculate that Tristan's eagerness to be photographed has less to do with fatherhood and more to do with his lifestyle. Known for his endless string of affairs, Tristan seems intent on reminding the women in his orbit that he is unattached, free, and unrestrained. To some, his late-night appearance at a strip club was less a coincidence and more a performance, proof to whichever woman currently holds his attention that Khloé is no longer a threat. And yet, despite all the humiliation, Khloé continues to stand by him in some capacity. To outsiders, it raises a painful question. Is her loyalty an act of nobility, or a sacrifice that strips away her own dignity? There is nothing admirable about staying loyal to someone who refuses to give the same loyalty in return. Sacrificing your life for a partner who repeatedly betrays you is not strength, it's surrender. Many argue this isn't about faith, love, or devotion. It's about low self-esteem disguised as nobility. To see Khloé Kardashian continually stand by Tristan Thompson, despite his public scandals, raises painful questions. Faithfulness is often praised as virtuous, but when it becomes a shield for insecurity, it stops being honorable. God, after all, never asked anyone to become a doormat for another's mistakes. The troubling part is how this dynamic now affects their children. Khloé herself admitted to a close friend that her daughter, True, genuinely believes her parents are married. In Khloé's mind, presenting this image of marriage was meant to set an example, an ideal picture of family, marriage first, then children. But beneath the surface lies a dangerous contradiction. What lesson does it teach when marriage means living apart, avoiding displays of affection, and existing in a state of quiet humiliation? To a child, those mixed signals could be deeply confusing. While Khloé clings to the appearance of family unity, Tristan openly dates other women, unconcerned with the image being projected. At some point, the concern shifts from Khloé's heartbreak to True's well-being. The more Khloé clings to this illusion, the more it risks shaping her daughter's understanding of love, loyalty, and self-worth in damaging ways. What troubles many observers is the message Khloé Kardashian may be passing down to her children. Reports suggest she often edits even their photos, particularly of her son Tatum, who strongly resembles her. Despite being a naturally adorable child, Khloé once admitted she struggled to accept that resemblance, even going so far as to request multiple blood tests to confirm his paternity. This reveals something deeper: a world where appearances are carefully staged and reality is blurred. For True, the confusion runs even further. She has been led to believe her parents are married, despite the constant evidence of Tristan's absence and infidelity. In Khloé's attempt to shield her children, she may be constructing a dream world, one that will eventually shatter. The danger of this illusion lies in its long-term effect. At some point, True will realize that her father wasn't truly present, and that her mother's devotion was built on denial. The cheerful family photos, first days of school, picture-perfect milestones, mask a much darker truth. A father photographed leaving strip clubs with strangers, and a mother explaining it away with excuses. It's a fragile foundation to build a childhood on. And while caring for Tristan's brother Amari once appeared noble, skeptics worry it too may be conditional, tied more to Khloé's hope of saving her fractured relationship than genuine permanence. The core question remains: is it fair to raise a child in a world that doesn't exist? Movies like Inception explored the chaos that comes when reality breaks apart, when everything you believed turns out to be a lie. And yet Khloé seems to be walking her children toward that same psychological cliff, one smiling school portrait at a time. For Khloé's children, the confusion is already setting in. Tatum, still too young to fully understand, reportedly parrots back phrases about his father, calling him a bench warmer or noting how daddy doesn't play. Even whispers of Tristan's suspension over steroids have lingered in the public eye, leaving people to question, what does an athlete sitting on the sidelines even need steroids for? But beyond Tristan's scandals, the focus inevitably shifts back to Khloé. At what point will the world look past the carefully crafted image and examine her actions for what they are? Critics argue she isn't the kind-hearted, long-suffering victim many believe her to be. Instead, they point to her past, like the way she treated Jordan Craig, Tristan's ex, while Jordan was enduring a high-risk pregnancy. That pursuit of validation, of wanting Tristan at any cost, left collateral damage behind. To them, Khloé's behavior appears less like loyalty and more like obsession, even cruelty. And now, rather than breaking the cycle, she risks passing it on, allowing her daughter to grow up inside an illusion, a dream world that doesn't match reality. It leaves a haunting question. How long can that dream last before the truth shatters it? Some say the real reckoning won't come until years from now, when one of the Kardashian children themselves decides to break the silence, penning the tell-all story that will expose what growing up in this empire was truly like.